Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Crusader Kings III, where today we're maybe going to have to confront some heavy shit. Old King Murchad here is starting to get a little gray. I think his hair is lightening. We're 54 years old, which doesn't strike me as like super old, but I have a very today sort of frame of reference, right? I don't know how old characters usually live to in Crusader Kings III. This is a thing that we're probably going to have to deal with at some point. So, we're going to have to work out succession, right? We got a bunch of lands and titles and whatnot. We're about to have... No, we already have a second heir. And, yeah, I don't know how this works. What I do know is that when I loaded this up here, this thing popped up. Apparently, we have the opportunity to adopt a special succession type. So, I guess, let's just click on this and... What is this? So right now we have Partition Succession? Yo, hold up. There's just like a decisions panel. Is this my... Okay, this is my decisions panel. This is a thing that I feel like we should look at more often, maybe? Okay, so what's the deal here? Partition Succession, which is, I guess, our current one, makes us weak and divided. Perhaps the realm's magnates would accept a historical alternative. So, if we do this, you may pick a form of a traditional elective succession based on your culture. It will be applied to any of your top-ranked titles using Partition Succession. So, the requirement for this is we have to be a kingdom, and we have to have neither the Advanced Succession Law nor the Elective Succession Law. This is the part where we need to just, like, figure out where in the UI our succession information is right now, because I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Here we go. Male preference Confederate partition. So I mean, this sucks, obviously, but we'll see if we can't do something about it, I guess. Alright, all children inherit equally. Under Confederate partition, your titles will be divided equally between your children. New titles may be created for younger realm heirs. Upon succession, all titles held by the late ruler will be divided amongst their eligible children, with the player heir being given the primary title, realm capital, and any direct de jure titles associated with it. Okay, I need some help with that. Because, like, okay, the primary title, our primary title right now is fucking King of Ireland, right? High king, no less. That's like a real good kind of king. We used to be a bad kind of king. Now we're north of average. So my direct heir, my immediate heir, will become the High King of Ireland. Then, right? If I'm understanding that correctly. So what does that leave for the other kid? Player heir being given the primary title, realm capital, and any direct de jure titles associated with it. But are not all of my titles direct de jure? I guess there's a couple of different ways the word direct might be being used here. It could mean just the immediate ones, or it could mean anything that descends directly from it. That's my intuitive reading, which I think would mean all of our titles, wouldn't it? Like, everything we have is sort of nestled within our rulership of Ireland. So, let's talk about elective succession, then. Can I just see the set of succession laws? No, of course, it's always got to be complicated, right? Alright. Okay, encyclopedia. Here we go. They brought us an encyclopedia for a reason. Tell me a thing or two about succession, could you? Because if we're talking about moving to an elective succession thing, I need to know, like, what that is, actually. Unfortunately, clicking on stuff in the encyclopedia does not take you to a relevant article or anything. I mean, I guess the definition of succession law is right here, but it doesn't contain any information. This is what the idea of succession law is. I want to see the succession laws. Show me the list of all the ones that exist, you know? So you may pick a form of traditional elective succession based on your culture. It says may here. So if we think on the matter and then the option presented to us seems like it would be bad, do we have... hopefully we have the option of declining? I'm gonna think on the matter, because I do want to see what the options are here. The question of who shall succeed me after my death has plagued me ceaselessly of late, the threat of splitting the realm ever on my mind. Of course, while it is usually difficult to persuade the realm to accept a new order to the succession, it can be much easier to return to the old. Usually backwards is bad, that's been my experience here on Earth. So Kingdom of Ireland will gain the Tanistry Elective Succession. Irish and Gaelic vassals will love it because they are apparently very backwards looking. The ruler and all vassals of 1 and 2 ranks below the title can nominate a title heir from among the members of the ruler's dynasty. Vassals will tend to favor older, distant relatives over close family. Oh, weird. What a weird way of doing that. Oops, I didn't... Sorry, that's my bad. I didn't do the middle mouse click. Okay, close family defined in a very standard English usage kind of way. Huh. So it would tend to be... I wonder if their definition of siblings includes my half-brother. Basically, I have no idea who who our powers would, who our titles would likely transfer to under this method of succession. Like, let's have a quick look at my whole deal here. So, tends to be older, more distant relatives. I don't really have a lot of those. Okay, our half brother is in the siblings category here, so it definitely does consider that. So probably my guess would be it would probably go to one of the half brothers, despite them being close family, just because they're the only options. I don't have distant family really. I mean, but does this show? This is not showing any more distant family, but I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have any. Maybe I have cousins and stuff. In fact, I definitely have cousins, don't I? We've encountered characters who are my cousins. The last dude we deposed violently was my cousin, I think. So that seems bad. So basically what we did there was we paid 300 prestige to get to read what Tanistry Elective Succession is. Again, this is a little baffling to me. Like, why is there not... Why does the encyclopedia in this game not function a little bit more like, say, the Civilopedia, which actually has all the goddamn game mechanics in it, and you could just go look at them. I realize that in this game it would mean that some of the pages are just extremely long lists of things, but that's 100% what I want. I want to be able to just look at the list. I think I would prefer Partition, because Tanistry Elective Succession is going to mean when we die, our control is going to pass to the kid, is going to pass to Brian, but he's not going to have any titles or anything. He's going to be a nobody. So, Partition is fairer. That's fine. I didn't even need that prestige. Oh no, actually, it looks like it refunded it. Okay, well, I appreciate that. So, we have some options here in the decisions panel. Let's look at this. Obviously, we cannot found a holy order. I'm really just not that pious. I cannot consecrate my bloodline. Can we, nope, no information on what that means. Yeah, okay. I do not fulfill the requirements to become a dynasty of many crowns, which is, alright. I would love to do this. See, part of my... I would love to sort of, like, break away from history a little bit more. The more we can get out of the way things already were, the more exciting it will be to me. So maybe this would be a fun goal for us to do in a future playthrough. I don't think it's necessarily a thing we want to aim for right now. We can change up our succession. We can bring in knights, and we do have open knight slots, if I'm not mistaken. We could just invite claimants to court if we had 750 prestige. Just get some people in here, get some claims, and then go press them with our very impressive army. I could undertake a pilgrimage to prove my dedication to God. No thanks, I'm good. We could host some feasts, or we could call a hunt. I'm assuming these... probably these generate events, right? And then they probably have a chance to get you prestige and weird encounters. And then we don't actually have a physician right now? Is that... I mean, what happened to that lady? What happened to that lady? Yeah, okay, no, Gundred's still here. Gundred appears to be real good at her job. She did a fine job with me, at least. I am 100% cool with keeping her up. Hey there. So we have an experienced schemer here in my court. I do not think that we are likely to recruit, I guess. I don't know that there's a lot of value in that. Let's just dismiss this. I do have some vassals who would love to get council positions, and I don't think it's gonna happen. Sorry, y'all. This guy's slightly negative because of sway, so he's gonna trend toward way more negative. He is actually better at martial stuff than our current marshal. This guy's my nephew. So does he count as a powerful vassal? If he's in my house, is there an indication on them of whether they're a powerful vassal that I can see before I take them off the council? Because obviously, I would prefer not to just make that trade, right? I already did that once. And you're bad at everything. There's no universe where you're getting on the council. Honestly, though, I think it would not be a bad idea to maybe move this guy up to marshal. Alright, my nephew's pretty fond of me, so he'll lose 10 points for no longer being on the council. And then he will also take, what was it, like a 20 or 30 point 20 or 30 point opinion penalty toward us for a while. I think that's fine. I'm gonna bounce him. Yeah, 20 for 10 years. That's okay. He'll even remain positive through all that, it looks like. So I think we're good. So, now we have this problem to resolve. This guy does not want to become my vassal. And I am not necessarily opposed to declaring war, but truces can be broken, but there is a severe penalty. This is a great example of like how bad the information in this game is. You should never write "there is a severe penalty" and then have those be the last words in your tooltip. What is the penalty? Give details. Where's the numbers? Where's the mechanics? Because there are a lot of penalties I might be willing to put up with, but I have no idea if this is going to be one of them. So... I mean, we have no idea. We have no idea how long the truce is, or... I guess the only way to find out is to declare war, and we'll just see what happens. If I press this button, it'll probably show us some information here, right? Okay, here we go. Declaring war will break the truce. This is information that should have been in the other tooltip, you know. At least it should tell you, like, if not telling you the numbers, because the numbers are variable and situationally dependent, it should at least say, like, you will suffer a penalty that will probably include loss of prestige, loss of fame, etc. Okay, so what exactly does the broke truce status do? Wow, 50 points of general opinion penalty with everyone. That does seem very bad. So, we probably want to wait this truce out then. I think that seems likely to be correct. And the question is just, how long is that going to be? because that's a problem. We could try swaying him. And we need that recently declared war, that recently waged war modifier to fall off, right? Who are we currently swaying? The Duchess? Yeah. Alright, I guess keep at it. And maybe we'll pull the sway back over to here. Because if we could just get if that modifier... Okay, cool, that's working. If that modifier will lessen over time, which I assume it will. I guess there's two ways it could work, right? It could be that as we get further away from the war, the modifier slowly increases, or slowly decreases in intensity. Or it might be that there's like a threshold date, and when we hit that date, it just completely falls off all at once. Not knowing, because the game's not going to tell us. We're just going to have to guess. This will be relevant if the modifier lessens over time, and less relevant if the modifier falls off all at once. Oh hey, I can unlock lifestyle perks. Well, why don't I just get some promising prospects? Everybody wants to be in my family. I mean, that makes sense. Things are going very well for us. While hosting lords and ladies from realms near and far... Okay, we have an opportunity to talk up the dude. I think we should definitely do that. I am willing to... Yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of prestige here. See, it's not all about me. Also, we should have a quick chat with her. Let's see if we have any interesting options with her. We could... I mean, we've already sort of bound our houses together. That's why we have the... alliance in the first place. I guess there's not really anything we can do with that, though, until we're willing to maybe use her to press a claim. We could maybe send our spy master out and start, like, trying to find secrets over here. Try to over the long term, engineer a diplomatic position that is favorable to us taking a piece of England to use as sort of a diplomatic beachhead. But I think for right now, let's just stay focused over here. Boy, what definition of recent are we using? Listen, that war was literally weeks ago. I can't believe you're not over it by now. Yep, it's still holding equal. Alright, another training with the troops thing. We found an ominous ghost ruin. I mean, I'm a pretty big fan of venturing inside. And is it the same deal? Yep, it's the same deal. So we can search the upper floors and potentially find treasure. Or we can go downstairs and potentially get spooked. It's very unlikely. We're extremely likely to successfully face our fears. But, like, money's good, right? I'm going to search the upper floors. Alright, we got the weak one. It's fine. So I probably want to put all of our money for a while into forming these titles, right? They're sources of prestige, and then they're more sort of like diplomatic fodder to give to people. Yep, we are still at a full -40. It's probably good to create titles. I guess when the death actually happens and we see succession in action, we'll learn for sure whether it's a good idea to have a lot of titles to give out. Oh no. My Chancellor's poor diplomacy skill. He's upset Earl Murchad. That's not great for us. Yeah, he tanked the guy's opinion so low that even if the wage war modifier wears off, we will no longer be able to get him to become our vassal. Well, keep trying. Maybe he'll undo that damage, at least, eventually. But I do think there's some amount of sitting here waiting that we're going to have to do. Either this truce needs to come to an end, or the other thing needs to fall off. So we could, I suppose, have our eyes toward Scotland or England, that we could start trying to come up with a claim somewhere. Let's have a quick look at King Robert. So he controls a lot of land, but not all of the land. Maybe what are the alliance statuses of people here? This place is led by a 12-year-old. It feels like we might be able to get a thing or two done over in these tiny, tiny little duchies. So let's see. You guys do have like 2,000 soldiers in your city, so maybe not so easy. Yeah, the military forces over there in England are a little bit larger than the ones we've been dealing with so far. Well, if we fabricate a claim over here, we can, of course, try to pull the Duchess into whatever nonsense we get up to, and with her army, I think it would probably be the case that we could take any of this stuff. Let's go have a quick chat, or have a quick look at her diplomatic standing. So she's allied with me, she's allied with... Where's Cornwall? Cornwall's all the way down here. Okay. So stay out of Cornwall, don't make that a problem. What does this mean that she has a, this one has like a little scroll. Title succession law, male preference. Okay. So yeah, she's got lots of territory within her. Oh, interesting. She does not contain the entirety of Northumbria, despite holding a title relevant to it. So presumably she would like to get this stuff. But I don't think... It doesn't seem like that's a thing where I can offer to help her out with that, right? So the point is, she doesn't seem to have any particular feelings about any of these people, at least as far as we can tell. So maybe, maybe we can make a move here. Maybe we could get established, get butted up against our ally, and then potentially engineer a situation over here while we're waiting for this thing to resolve. Yep, which we are definitely still waiting for. I think I'm going to do it. I think that this may be the sort of thing that ends with me getting murdered. But let's send our Archbishop to fabricate a claim against this county, or do we want to try to... We could try to find somebody who has a legitimate claim, right? We could invite claimants and try to run it that way. That's going to be cheaper, probably. How do you do that? You have to have 750 prestige, which we will get to. Unfortunately, I'm assuming if we do this, it'll just give us a big group of arbitrary claimants. We won't be able to, necessarily pull one from here. But maybe that's a good thing to do. Maybe we should let that sort of shape our direction. Let's sit here. We'll have opportunities to gain prestige, and of course, our income, our passive income of prestige is not horrible. Actually, we'll have a really good opportunity to gain some prestige in a second here when we form a new title, right? Many treatises have been written on honorable conduct in war, but those authors' lives weren't on the line when they put pen to paper. I know from experience the best way to defeat my enemies is to ensure we only engage in battle on my terms. The question is, what terms would be most advantageous? Is this like a... Are we talking about something specific here, or is this like an abstract philosophical thought? So... Because we don't even currently have any enemies, right? We're not talking about anything specific here. I could try to trick some enemies into overextending, which would potentially give me this buff for 5 years. Just kill a lot of enemies and give me some XP, but potentially cost me some renown, or some prestige, rather. Hit and run tactics, not really my sort of thing. Reducing retreat losses, also not my sort of thing. We never retreat. Or I could just reject the use of these tactics And I mean, right now, we're not terribly stressed. Yeah, I don't see any reason to engage in an intrigue challenge. Let's... We have the martial skill to just take on our challenges pretty much directly head on. So I think that's what we're going to keep doing. Ah! So wait, did his... Pause this. I do not like the fact that when it works, it no longer shows the modifiers. So this declared war opinion modifier is decaying slowly. But I don't think it's the same thing as the modifier we were seeing here for recent war. It really should. I don't know why this game is so obsessed with hiding all of the numbers and the mechanics from you. Here we go. This is the information. So yes, it did just fall off all at once. And it's 1083 when that happens. We can get a sense of how long that takes to occur. Alright, well, welcome aboard because, you know, now Ireland. Now I got this whole entire Ireland. Now I assume he's gonna wanna be on the council or something, and he can just fucking deal with it, frankly. Here's the thing. I'm terrifying, and he's not gonna do anything. He's not gonna mess with me. He also just, like, my dude does not have the stats to join my council. He's not good enough at things. Actually, he would make a better archbishop than our current archbishop. Yeah, our current dude's kind of not good at the job, actually. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I do put him on the council. Since Slothrin's opinion of you is +1 or greater, you gain levies and taxes from his church holdings. So if I make you the archbishop, what is that gonna... Hold on a second. So does this guy only have church holdings because he's the archbishop, is the question I have. Yeah, it must be. He doesn't own these things. He's just the archbishop, so all of the bishoprics report to him. So if I bounce him from the situation, which I apparently cannot even do, and appointed the other guy would then, these would all be his holdings, and he could give us the same bonus. So why can I not do this? Catholicism does not have revocable clerical appointment. Without such a doctrine, there is always a court chaplain or realm priest, and you cannot assign a new counselor. Yeah, Catholicism. It's a problem. Okay, well, I guess then we're going to have to figure those out. How do I make that happen? How do I change my doctrines? I guess probably I'm not in control of what the rules of Catholicism are. The answer is I would have to change to a different religion, right? Okay, well I guess that's a situation that cannot, for the moment, be resolved. But hey, look at that. Ireland. We did it. We are now properly the king of the whole damn Ireland. Alright. Let's talk about this thing. So we could request a claim from the Pope. We do not have enough piety. I mean, it lets us click the button, though. I'm kind of curious. What is... It would cost me 320. The prince that I'm getting the claim on would not love this. Gee, what a surprise. He is, by default, reluctant to do this, but Prince Cadogan is sinful, and I am virtuous. But you know, there are other problems here. First of all, not least of which, I do not have the amount of the amount of piety we're talking about here. So again, for the moment, I think I want to just chill out. Let's maybe increase control in our other... Okay, we only have one county where control is not good. Let's sit here for a minute, get above 250 wealth, and then we're gonna... Oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. My dude. He was actually really good at his job. So now we have an empty position on the council, And unfortunately, not really a great... none of the people who desperately want to be on the council are actually very good at this thing, right? Well, I guess... we could recruit her, our guest. She's actually pretty good at intrigues. Yeah, wow, actually, there are not a lot of people in my whole entire deal who are any good at this. My wife's not. Yeah, let's read about schemes. I mean, I think the answer here is we're just going to recruit this lady to court and have her be our spy master, and we'll get back to the amount of money we need to form the new title soon enough. As a ruler, there are many who would scheme to see you dead. Try to make sure that your subjects have a high opinion of you. Well, I mean, I'm doing my best, but, you know. And most importantly, always keep your spy master loyal. You might not know they exist, but hostile schemes could target you at any time. To prevent schemes, recommend that you keep your vassals and courtiers happy. This is the thing I'm not doing a great job at. Everybody's afraid of me, which is worth something, I guess. Having a spy master with a very low opinion of you can be a death sentence, as there's then no way for you to discover secret schemes. Even though you might suppress your subjects via dread, they can still scheme against you. Important to note. Finally, beware of sadistic or ambitious claimants to your throne. We have several people in our court who are both sadistic and ambitious. Which is to say, I need somebody who is good at intrigue in my council here. How much would it be? Oh, it's not even very expensive. And she'd be, like, extremely into it. This makes her a really, really good spy master. Yeah, wow, plus 100. We actually capped out her opinion. Okay, excellent. Yes, please disrupt any schemes. Please go to great lengths to disrupt schemes. There are definitely people in my court who are going to be annoyed because they probably thought they were in line for that. Hold on now. The Earldom of Fife. Well, that's inconvenient. So that's currently part of the Greater Scotland. The King of Scotland would probably have feelings about me pressing that claim, right? An interesting guest at court, but I think not exactly the sort of claimant we're looking for. So let's wait a month here until we get a little bit more income. Catholicism's fervor was decreased because some guys out there sinning. Seems like a real not my problem kind of problem. So, we now have the money to form another one of these titles, and that will earn us a great big burst of prestige. Does it matter much which one we form? Your vassals may desire the title. If your realm has a succession law with multiple realm heirs, that will affect who inherits what titles. This is potentially a serious problem. I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of thought that cleaning up the rest of Ireland was maybe going to take a little bit more work. So I wasn't 100% ready to consider succession just yet. Alright, let me hold on. I know there's lots of information out there that we can that I can look up, but let's just try to understand this from right here. So all titles held by the late ruler will be divided amongst their eligible children, which in our case is our 2 sons, right? I forgot to click the button. Yeah, okay, so we have 2 kids, the titles would be divided, but Brian would become the new king of Ireland, and we would be playing as him. And what did I name my other kid? Oh yeah, a thing I can pronounce, definitely. Already considered a grasper at the age of 4. He would inherit some of our titles, but he would be below his brother in the overall organizational structure, which I'm sure is a thing he will have opinions about. Can I, yeah, we should educate the child, right? Oh, this is have me personally educate the child. To whom am I sending this? Yeah, I am both the sender and the recipient. This button probably shouldn't say send proposal. Well, I feel like somebody's got to educate this child, right? I could do that. I could teach my own kid, maybe. Is that a good idea? My learning is poor. You probably want somebody who's good at teaching stuff to teach your kid. I might not be smart enough for this. Ask to take vows. So hold on. If I... Yeah, that's not going to have any real effect here. Okay. So, like, what if I had somebody who knows stuff about things teach my kid some stuff? A guardian is a character assigned to educate a child. Guardians tend to pass on their personality traits as well as their culture and or faith. The guardian can reside in a different court, entrusting close family members to the mercy of another ruler. In this way, will increase their opinion of you. Sure, that makes sense. It doesn't actually say that the guardian's stats affect this at all, though, right? Guardians tend to pass on their personality traits to their wards as well as their culture and or faith if so specified in the education focus. What does that mean? What is the education focus? Where do I see that? So, whose personality traits would we want the kid to pick up? I mean, mine are pretty good for being a guy who's gonna fight and rule, I guess. But I don't necessarily want my younger son to be picking up a lot of wrathfulness and... Right, he's got to be a good citizen. Do we know anybody who has any positive personality traits? Like, kind of no, right? This is not bad. And I guess things that are virtuous to Catholics have obvious value. I do not think that we should have our wife do it. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know who would be a good fit here. Another thing I don't know is if we leave the kid to just... If we don't specify a guardian, how does the kid's education run? Ah, okay, there's an education focus button over here. Study of administration. Okay, so we can just pick a thing for him to... And it just bends them toward a stat. And it's giving us an indication here of what he's good at and what he's naturally well suited to and what he's not well suited to. So, I mean, stewardship would be good, right? Yeah. You can change education focus freely until age 6, at which point it will get locked in and start to take effect. Okay. But I mean, would it be a good idea to try to... Would it be a good idea to try to force him into learning, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is here. We're just going to pick something and hope, basically. So we're making good progress toward a new level of fame. I think we're gonna make some titles here. Let's create some titles, and then we can potentially hand these off. Too many held duchies. You hold more than 2 duchies as a king or emperor, lowering your vassal's opinion of you. Ah, but see, I did this, that I could pass this off. So, a couple of things. First of all, now that we have all this prestige, how does this work? In order to extend my realm, I must have valid claims on foreign land. Luckily for me, there are many claimants out there who would be willing to become my vassals in return for military support. Okay, so this'll cost a lot of our current prestige. The likelihood of claimants with relevant claims arriving as guests is greatly increased for 5 years, and then will be unable to do it for another 10. It seems like a good thing to do. It seems like this seems like a good way to sort of search for the ability to what do you call it? The ability to feel out new land. And if we create another title, we'll push up to a new level of fame, which is probably good for us. Reclaim Britannia. You do not fulfill all the requirements, and it's not gonna tell me what those are. I mean, that seems like a good next goal for us, right? I think we're kind of headed in that direction already. But as always, the game is being weirdly mysterious about what exactly it wants. So do we just sit and wait on claimants for the moment and see if something interesting rolls in here while we're continuing to accumulate? Oh, we should pass off one of these. So, I mean, Munster's kind of my whole deal. We could hand Ulster over to someone else. I'm wondering, there's not like a big difference in terms of, it's not going to change our taxes or anything too much, right? I'm going to give away Connacht. I kind of want to hold Ulster myself. I don't know if this makes sense. But I sort of want to be in control of Ulster because it's closer to the places that we might be making war. It probably doesn't matter in that sense because, again, there seems to be no penalty for marching troops around people's land and stuff. Nobody seems to have opinions about those things. Okay, so if we look at each of our titles, we can actually see what the current line of succession for them is. That's interesting. Destroy title. Is there an easy way to do this? Actually, I'm kind of curious about this. Let's look at the duchy titles view. So Munster goes to Brian, which makes sense. As things stand right now... Oh, right, that's not a title yet. That's not a title. So as things stand right now, Brian will become King of Ireland. Yeah, actually, there's a whole thing here. No, don't tell me what the titles are. So he is the heir to... He's currently unlanded. Should we give Connacht to him, maybe? I mean, I guess, do I have any particularly annoyed vassals? Because this could be a way to fix that, right? We could give somebody land and bump their opinion up. Of course, it's got to be somebody who we care about the opinion of. It looks like most people are at least a little bit positive. So we have a lot of unlanded knights here. I suppose it would make the most sense to give it to somebody who has high stewardship, right? Because does that affect the amount of tax that it produces? I think it does. Yeah, let's reward our knights. Here. So if we grant you the Earldom of Connacht, he'll gain 40 opinion of me, he'll become a proper vassal. Do we have currently unlanded vassals? See, we have some pretty unhappy vassals, but of course, these are people who are unhappy for very good reasons. We have done things. So he wants a seat on the council. He's got a big short reign modifier, despite the fact that we have My mouse keeps moving without me touching it. He's got a big short reign modifier, despite the fact that we have not had a short reign, but he's been under our reign for a very short period of time, I guess. He feels that I am not his rightful liege. The ruler holds the direct de jure liege title of the vassal's primary title. Oh, is this because that duchy? What's his current primary title? Yeah, so he's the Earl of Dublin, and I'm not the Duke of Meath because that title doesn't currently exist. So if we did that, it would fix some of his negative opinion. Yeah, so we could grant him this title, and that would make me his rightful liege, right? Because then he'd be the Duke of Connacht underneath me as King of Scotland. So I guess that's one way of solving that. But he does not appear on this list at all. Well, I mean, I guess we're sorted by relevance right now, and unfortunately, I don't know what that means. I don't know how it's deciding who's relevant and who's not. But basically, could I give it to him? Okay, I mean, I knew that. That's not new information. Let's, opinion of me sorted backwards. Okay, we are allowed to give it to him. He's considered to be quite low on the thing, because he's already he's already landed. You know, this is feeling like a little bit more of a decision than I'm prepared to make at the moment, especially because I definitely need to more closely understand exactly what the creation of titles and distribution of land is going to do to our succession. So I think I'm maybe going to call this right here, and I'm going to go do some research and come back. So that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Apologies that this is going a little bit slowly. There's a lot of stuff going on in here that the game has absolutely no interest in making clear to us. So I'm going to go handle that problem, and when you come back next time on Monday, hopefully I will have clarified it to myself, and then I can clarify it to all of you. And we'll see you then.